Is this possibly the best Scream movie to date? What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. So I have a big horror review today as I'm talking about Scream 6, the highly anticipated sequel in the Scream franchise. The movie hits theaters this Friday. I was able to see it early, so here's my non-spoiler review of the movie. Before I get into this thing, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your predictions and your expectations for Scream 6, and of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell. It would mean a lot to me, and I'm also trying to hit my goal of 72,000 subscribers here on the channel. So real quick history on my relationship with this franchise. I love the first film. The second one's great. 3 is pretty bad. 4 is great, and I enjoyed 5 way more when I rewatched it this week in preparation for 6. So going in, I was pretty excited, of course. I'm very happy to sit here and say, this is a great movie. Now, it's worth noting that we are no longer in Woodsboro. In fact, we are all the way across the country in New York City, the Big Apple, baby. And while some diehard fans of this franchise might be upset with the setting change, to me, it worked perfectly. It allowed for a breath of fresh air into the franchise, and the city itself was used in a very unique way in terms of the main characters trying to evade Ghostface, and I'll hint at that later. So when the movie picks up, some time has passed since the events of Scream 5, which I'm referring to Scream 2022, but I will be calling it Scream 5 for the rest of this video. This movie explores the trauma of each individual character, the ones who survived Scream 5 at least. Jenna Ortega plays Tara in the film, and she's off at college trying to move on to a new phase of life, while Sam, the main lead of this new group of characters, is more so traumatized than the rest, which makes sense. She was sort of the main target, if you will. Well, just when it seems like everyone is starting to move on from the events of Scream 5, a new Ghostface enters the picture, and insanity ensues across New York City, making for a damn entertaining ride. In fact, I will go out on the record and say this, in my opinion, and I think most of you will agree, this without question contains the most brutal and gruesome kills in the entire franchise. I mean, there were moments where I was just wincing, and I had to look away at how just gross some of these kills were. Now, they're not on par with some of the wild Halloween kills you'll see Michael Myers partake in, but there's some really unsettling imagery, to say the least, and moments that your theater will audibly gasp or wince. It ups the stakes, it ups the body count. There's a lot of blood in this movie. But it's not just about the kills, because I really appreciate the story this movie has to tell. Notably, the sisterhood relationship between Sam and Tara is really sweet there, and since the events of Scream 5, Sam's become like that overprotective mom to her in a way, and the arc that they go on throughout the course of the movie was really satisfying, and I thought that it was well thought out. Definitely the emotional core of the movie. Now, it's worth noting that certain legacy characters do appear in this film. As we all saw in the poster and in the trailers, Kirby, played by Hayden, who was in Scream 4, is back in this movie. I absolutely love the way that they integrated her in with the new cast. It felt like no one missed a beat. She even had a great relationship with certain characters, referencing their love for horror movies, and she just fit right in with the cast of new characters. And of course, Gale Weathers is in the movie, but there's no Sidney Prescott, and to me personally, I don't think that her absence was felt as much as I thought it would be. They reference it, I'm not going to say how or why, but they reference her, and it was fitting in my opinion. It didn't feel out of place. Now, of course, I would have loved to have Sidney in this movie. She is the iconic lead of this franchise, so a little part of me, I guess, felt empty missing her, but overall, I'm so attached to these new characters that I was able to forget that Sidney wasn't even on screen here, and it all flowed together really well. In typical Scream fashion, this movie is very self-aware, and perhaps we even get a scene where the rules of the movie are explained. And as I sit here saying this, you might be thinking, oh, that might be repetitive. They do it in every single movie. Well, it works here, and they just have this way of making everything feel fresh. In fact, this movie constantly subverted my expectations from the very beginning, keeping me on my toes, and it does things that no other Scream movie does, which I genuinely have to tip my hat to. Anytime a franchise gets past the 5 movie mark, you can start to question if things are going to feel tiresome or too repetitive. That's not the case here at all. It was very fresh, and again, constantly kept me on my toes and guessing to the very end, which is what I want in a movie like this. There were so many tension-filled scenes where my palms were sweating, and one scene in particular even played into one of my greatest fears, so it really enhanced the experience for me. Not only was I engaged from the start with this movie, but just felt tense in my chair. Multiple kill scenes are really well thought out, and the movie clocks in at 2 hours and 3 minutes, but it really flew by. I checked the time at a certain point, and we only had 30 minutes left, and I was like, damn, this movie's flying by, which is obviously what you want in a movie, you know, time flies when you're having fun. That's clearly the case here. Now, I will be honest, I'm still processing the major third act reveals because I always just have to sit and think on them to fully understand my thoughts 100%. And initially, I was a little disappointed with certain decisions that were made, but I think I like it way more as I sat here thinking about it. And, you know, when I got out of the movie, I talked it out and I was like, you know what? I actually like that a lot more. You know, we always get these third act scenes, the moments, right, in Scream movies. And as that scene played out and we got more information, I warmed up to it very quickly. quickly and was fully on board for the final act of the film. At first, I was a little jarred, but then I was like, you know, I can get on board with this. I dig it. Some of the standout moments in this movie for me involve a subway, a ladder, and perhaps some homages to previous Scream films. But overall, as a fan of this franchise, I can say that I am very satisfied, and if you yourself are a fan of Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, or particularly Scream 2022, aka Scream 5, you're gonna dig the hell out of this, and I think this is gonna be a big hit with fans, with critics, and even at the box office. This is a movie for Scream fans, and it understands this franchise so well, it respects it, but it also has created a new group of characters that I just love. I am down to watch more Scream films with our main group. It's impressive because when Scream 5 came out, I was like, I don't know if I'll care about these characters as much as Sydney and Dewey, but through these two movies, they have fully won me over, and I would put them almost on the same level as the original cast. The movie's violent as hell, so expect that going in. There's thrills, there's horror jump scare moments, it's got everything you want in a Scream movie, and of course, the third act rules, which is the case with most of these movies. I definitely recommend seeing this one in theaters, especially if you're a horror/thriller fan or just a fan of the Scream films. That's just my take on Scream 6. Let me know in the comments down below some of your predictions or expectations, and if you guys have seen the movie, let me know your thoughts. I'm down to talk about it down below. Stay tuned for more Scream videos coming this week. I have a character tier list, a Ghostface ranking, and other videos, including my ranking of all 6 Scream movies. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 72,000 subscribers here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.